Good afternoon, everybody. This is Austin, and welcome back finally to Kansas Dirt Live. I think it has been close to a year since I put out a video. I have had quite a few requests. Everyone seems to be enjoying them, so finally I am back, and I'm going to make some more content. I've got a couple new projects for you guys to look at, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Today, we are going over the Stafford County Intermodal Terminal. We started this project back in April, and it is now November. So this is a rail facility that is located just outside of St. John. It is going to service different businesses. From what I know, there is a grain facility going in, maybe a fertilizer plant, aggregate. A business will be able to put itself there. Customers can buy their product. They can put it right on the rail and disperse it, I'm assuming, throughout the entire country. So it was a really cool one to be able to build. Before we go out there, though, I want to give you kind of a bird's eye view breakdown, because this project is massive. From one end to the other, it's like a mile across. If I go out there, it'll just look like you're standing next to the a railroad track. You won't be able to see anything. It's so large. So I will go ahead and show you that, and then we'll get out to the site. Let's have a dirty day. Okay, so this rail is going to run parallel down the BNSF main line. It'll have a spur on the east that loops around like this, and then it'll have a spur on the west that goes around like this. The inside of this right here will be our borrow pit, which then turns into a retention pond to catch all of the drainage that runs down these tracks. Had to flip the image on you. As I stated before, this project is almost a mile across from end to end, so couldn't quite capture the whole thing in one photo. So the rail will continue on south, or it will eventually split right here at the old blacktop. One will go to the west, and one will split and go straight south. It will then make a loop entirely around this circle right here and come back. That will also leave us areas like this one right here for borrow pits that will then become, again, retention ponds. So there will be one there, and then there will be one over here in this corner. That's where we will get all of the dirt for this project. And then, like I stated before, they will be culverts underneath this rail bed in areas that let water into these retention ponds that we built. Just like that. That ensures that all the water that sheds off of this rail bed is ran through ditches and caught into the retention ponds. All the water that drains off this site will be kept on site. Well, there's a little breakdown, so let's go head out to the site. So here we are out on site. All the work has been completed at this point, but I can still take you through some of the steps of how we built this thing. So as I showed you on that bird's eye view, here is one of the pits. So there is a pit here in this corner and over in the other corner. That is where we gained all of the dirt to build up this rail bed right here. This loops around this whole quarter right here. We dig out of this pit, do lifts of 10-inch thick, and compact it in place till it got to 95% compaction. We would have it tested by the engineer. When it passed, we could go ahead and re-rip the dirt just a little bit so that the next lift would adhere properly, and then do 10 inches more. When we got up into what I call our mix zone, so this whole project was stabilized with cement. I will show you some of that footage later on. So the top 10 inches of this dirt we laid out here, it was mixed with a rate of cement powder to make it really, really hard. And then we came back in after that and added 3 inches of AB3 road base. So from right in here to about down in here, that is our 10-inch mix zone. These pits, how it went was we stripped the topsoil off of it. Then there was a bunch of heavy dark clay underneath that. Underneath that dark clay, there was a good red, like LVC, low volume clay type material. We used that for our 10-inch mix zone because that low volume clay, that just means that it is a sandy clay mixture that does not shrink, swell, and like I said, it is sandy. It's not that heavy pottery clay type of material. That accepts the cement stabilization a lot better. You get, if you think about it, it's going to be a lot easier to blend cement with like a sandier material rather than a heavy clay material. So a majority of this build is that heavy clay. The top 10 inches is the LVC, which we mixed with cement, and then on top of that, the 3 inches of AB3 base material. Remember those culverts I was talking about? This happens to be the biggest culvert on site. This is a 48-inch culvert. So built up to our design height. Then we retrenched this out, stabbed the culvert in sections, rocked around it where it can erode. These are called straw wattles. We have to put those around it so that more, no dirt washes into the rock while we're waiting on the grass to grow. That allows this interior to drain through into our retention pond. So yeah, we just kept stacking 10-inch lifts of dirt until we got up to our design height all the way around the ring. Some spots there is 2 feet of fill, some spots there was 8 feet of fill, and then other spots we actually had to, we call it over excavate. The dirt we were trying to build off of, the natural ground that we had just stripped topsoil off of, was real bad, real wet, super pumpy, so that's not good for a base to start with. We had to over excavate down through that till we could find something dry and then start over from fresh there. So some of these spots, you'll see the rail bed looks like it's 3-4 feet tall, but there's actually 6 feet of fill in total. Well, I guess I will skip to some of that footage and show you how we built this thing right now. Well, let's talk about some soil stabilization or cement stabilization as we did here. So that, like I was talking about, that top 10-inch, I called it a mix zone. We stabilized with cement powder, so Portland cement, same stuff that you could go to an Ace Hardware or a lumber yard, you can buy bags of it. We mixed tons of it, literal tons, in that top 10 inches all the way around, made it extremely hard. This is our current setup we got here. So this is about a, what I want to say, 150, yeah, I think a 150 ton silo, 150 ton capacity. So we store all of our cement in this silo. We've got a 27 ton spreader we put behind a 4-wheel drive tractor. It applies a rate of cement very evenly, very accurately across the ground. We have it delivered into this silo right here by pneumatic trailers. That's just a fancy word for saying a tanker that can pressurize itself and essentially blow the dry cement powder up into the top of the silo. 150 tons worth. We drive our spreader right underneath this this cement bellow, is what they call it, that lowers down into our spreader, and we can carry about 24 ton, I think. We don't run it all the way to 27, it's full capacity, but 24 ton gets augered off onto our spreader, and we take it to wherever it needs to go. It's a really cool operation. A lot of early mornings. You got to start early so that you have enough time to, you know, mix up a fair amount and get it laid back down and packed tight, because it obviously it sets up like cement if you're not fast enough. So, and then you got to clean everything every single day. I apologize, there's a train coming by right now behind me. Soon they'll be coming in here around the loop. But yeah, I will take you and show you that operation right now. So here is some finished rail I found for you guys. So our contract stopped at this base material right here. So 3 inches of base material, 10 inches of mixed LVC material, and then, you know, on down and from where we started filling. From there, this is the rail company's expertise. I am not an expert on building rail, but they come in with 3 inches of, they call it railroad ballast. Put 3 inches down. We knocked all this down with a road grader for them. They come in here and build all of their rail, put all their ties down, and then all the way around this they use a loader and they fill this track completely up with rock. And they've got a machine that rides on this rail that it vibrates and has a drum that spins and knocks all this rock down into place where it should be. Again, I don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. I'm a dirt work guy. I don't build rail, but from what I seen and the questions I asked, that's how they finish their rock out. Whenever this is all said and done, there will be a nice rail right here. All the rock will be shimmied down into all the gaps, filling the rail entirely up with rock, and it will be ready for use. Just want to thank you guys for all the likes and comments, and feel free to let me know if you want me to touch base on anything else, maybe I missed a little, or you want some more details on something, I would love to make another video kind of sharing more in depth on just certain areas. I like explaining this stuff. There's a lot more to it when you get on projects like this than just mounting up some dirt and smoothing it off and calling it a rail bed. But with that, again, thank you, and remember, stay dirty.